Hello humans, Artist with the Fro here and welcome back to the show. We are here with a little bit of a preview or a preface before today's video. We are entering and hopefully trying to win the Yugituber A to Z tournament, which is hosted by Cypher Cards. Shoutouts to Cypher Cards again for getting this tournament and creating it, introducing a lot more Yugitubers who are just getting started into this type of format and giving them the opportunity to have their platform be known and shown to the viewers at large. Much thanks to him as well, and make sure that you guys look forward for some possible future collabs that we might have. Now, in regards to today's tournament, we are actually using a deck. We've been given the letter U, and we are going to be moving forward with our deck, and our our first challenge is none other than Raging Raven. So we're gonna see how well we can do with our U deck, and you guys are gonna see what type of deck that is. I'm not gonna say what it is, although if you've seen the thumbnail, you probably can guess or assume what it possibly could be. But when we do enter our duel, the serious glasses are going on, and then we're gonna see if we can take this win. All right, let's get to it. All right, so the room's back up. We're gonna join in here. We've entered in our password. We are ready and all set to go. I don't know what deck, or rather I have an idea of the deck that Raging Raven is going to be using, but we're going to try to see how well we can do in this duel and see if we can beat him. Good luck to you, Raging Raven, if you're watching this back, and hopefully whichever one of us wins, good luck in their future matches as well. Awesome. He wishes me good luck. I'm going to do the same. It's so hard to see with the serious glasses. They make the gameplay so serious, but following through on everything else is not as helpful. You guys already know how we do this. Paper gang all day, paper gang for life. That is how we always play our things, and that is going to determine whether or not we are going to go first and or second based on this duel. And starting off first, we do have Libero Spiker in our hand, which is a very, very good card, as well as Call by the Grave Terraforming, which is going to help us get out that UA field spell that we're going to need, and then Signing Deals, which can also really, really work in regards to us summoning the cards that we are going to need as well. So he has Aloof Lupine, and he's going to start off first by banishing Necroface. That's going to banish off the top 5 cards of both of our decks. I'm only hoping that the cards that I do have that are banished aren't necessarily the cards that I would need. So he actually chained in a second Necroface, which is then going to banish another 5 cards. So in total, we're starting off with 10. However, this isn't necessarily that bad for me. It does make me realize, though, that he is running Metaphys. The reason why I'm saying that this isn't so bad is because he did not have Soul Absorption the minute that he played the card. So what that tells us is that he wasn't able to gain potentially at least 5,000 life points twice to make it 10,000, and then another 5 for the third Necroface that he would have gotten. So we've just circumvented him from gaining 15,000 life points. And we're going to have to see if we can come back after that. He then activates a Metaphys, again ensuring and showing us that he is playing Metaphys cards. Once per turn, he is going to add a Metaphys card from his hand, and if he does draw a card, and then this is going to allow him to then activate or add all monsters he controls will either gain or lose 500 additional attack and defense. Then he activates Metaphys Factor, and what this does is that each turn, one level 5 or higher Metaphys monster can be normal or special summoned without a tribute, but it does get banished. So we currently have 2 Libero Spikers in our hand. I'm actually going to view my banished set, and ooh, we've actually just been stopped. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to see if I can check through the rest of my sets here and view through my banished thing just to see all of the monsters that I have that are potentially going to be hopeful that we can summon. So while we do wait for the standby phase, all of the Metaphys cards are all going to be added back into his deck. It's going to be up to us to try to see if we can get rid of all of the cards that he has there, hopefully before he's able to pull off either a Grand Maju or a, let's say, Eater of Millions. This is not the most ideal format for us, but again, we can always make sure that we come back. But it's also allowing me to realize what type of cards I might want to side in if we do end up playing against him for the second round. I know I'm not going to necessarily need Nibiru because he's not going to summon off 5 monsters. The decks for Metaphys tend to cycle and recycle cards back into them. but he's also going to be milling off a lot as well. So he currently has Metaphys Decoy Dragon, and while this is the Pendulum, if it's targeted for an attack, or rather when his monster is targeted for an attack, you can target one of his Metaphys that is banished, and then special summon that card. So my main goal is to get rid of that. My second goal is probably going to be to get rid of any of the other cards that he does have, but we're really going to have to try and see what we can do here. And again, I'll start off first by checking my banished section just to see all of the banished cards. We had 2 UAs, we have a Ash Blossom, and we're going to have to see what else, Dunker, and that's about it. So only three, wow. That's actually not that bad. We've only banished 3 of the UAs that we're really going to need. Now, looking at what I have here, I'm going to have to really just try to manage the way that I'm going to have to do this and see what we're going to have to plan on in regards to what we need to summon. That really didn't affect us as bad as I thought it was. And this is, again, thanks to the fact that we are running more than one of our field spells. So, if I do go for Hyper Stadium, I will be able to add the other UA card that I would need to my hand. I know that he doesn't necessarily have anything in his hand, so I don't have to worry about any of the other cards that he could potentially use against me. I think that what we want to do is probably get Hyper Stadium first, or maybe let's just go for Regular Stadium. All right, so we're going to go for Regular Stadium. We're going to activate Regular Stadium, which is then going to change the field to our suggested, or hopefully our preferred style. We're going to summon Libero Spiker, and then UA Stadium is going to activate its effect. I'm going to go and get Player Manager because he's the card that I definitely need to add to my hand. And then we're going to definitely just recycle and cycle out the rest of our cards here. Alright, so when he's special summoned, my card of target that I'm going to have to get rid of is Decoy Dragon, and we're really going to have to try to get rid of that card ASAP. Just to make sure that we have everything that we are going to need. But what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to activate Signing Deal, which is going to allow me to summon out Midfielder, or maybe I should summon out Dunker. I think I'm going to go for Dunker here, and I'll special summon him in attack, and I'll take the damage from that. UA Stadium is activated. If I do, what does this say? So UA Stadium is activated. You can add 1 UA monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, UA monster special all monsters you control. Yes. I'm going to chain my UA card here, and what we're going to do is we're going to special summon out my guy. Now, we're going to activate his trigger effect, which is going to then destroy 1 card on the field, and we'll get rid of that first. Then the next thing we're going to have to do is then special summon out by recycling our card back into our hand, thus summoning out another Libero. And then if we can special summon out to get, again, our Dunker on the field. Now, we can special summon into something else, but I don't think that I'm going to need anything, so I'm just going to cancel out from there. I'm going to go into my battle phase, and we'll try to see what we can do here. Yeah, we're going to try to see what we can do here. And again, just making sure that we can at least do some type of damage, piercing damage, hopefully. So we're going to attack the Decoy Dragon, and yes, I do have my glasses off, but Decoy Dragon hopefully is going to allow us to do some sort of piercing damage, which it didn't necessarily, so I probably should have been reading my cards first. Then we're going to go in for the attack on Aloof Lupine, which is going to allow him to then add another card from his deck to his hand. After that, he's going to activate Aloof Lupine's effect. Let's see. If this card is destroyed by battle, if it's on his possession, it's okay, he's going to then get Necroface back to his hand. And what we're going to do is we are going to go to our main phase 2. And we're going to just set a card face down. And we are going to set another card face down. And end my turn. So we're going to have to try and see what we can do against these cards. But what's really going to be challenging is that I'm going to have to try to make sure that I understand the rest of the Metaphys cards while he's activating them. So the Metaphys, he's going to basically just be recycling thanks to asymmetry, or rather Asymetaphys, which is going to allow him to recycle some of the cards back as well. The other card that I definitely need to make sure that I'm watching out for is Metaphys Factor. Looking back on what I probably should have done was making sure that I had the I probably should have had the Libero, or not the Libero, I probably should have had the Playing Manager in my hand, and then used his effect to special summon and then negate all of the monsters on the field. which then would have allowed me to then go into extra damage. Just hopefully or potentially hoping that I could have also circumvented the decoy dragon that would have been in the background as well. So we're going to have to really try and see what we can do here. He's going to get decoy dragon back, and with Nephthys, I believe he's going to be adding it back into the deck. So with the Metaphys that we have here, again, a very good banishing deck. Not a lot of sort of life point gain that he is showing here, but that's also good for us because, you know, not having the soul absorption, or not allowing, like, you know, some of these other cards, the Solemns, the Marcos Cosmos, etc., just again sets us up for a little bit of, I guess, a hopeful advantage that we can have. Pot of Extravagance is going to banish some of the cards from his extra deck. Pot of Extravagance, I'm not going to chain my card here because I'm guessing, or rather I'm going to assume that he's going to summon out Necroface, which is then going to allow him to return all of the cards back. And with Necroface returning those cards back, he's then going to be able to gain 100 attack for each of the cards that are returned back to the deck. Now he can then, again, go for more banishing effects if he wants to, but we're really going to have to hope and see what we can do here. He activates another Ace of Metaphys. Once per turn, you can banish one Metaphys card from his hand, and if he does draw a card, let's see what he decides to do there. Again, not necessarily wanting to activate the Called by the Grave. I will have to side that out because that's actually going to help him out more than it's going to help me. Libero is going to attack. I am not going to chain a card. I think he's going to take this first game. We do take 300, which does leave us at 56. And then the 45 is going to leave us at a staggering 1100 life points. So now we're going to really have to try to see if we can come back after this. Only other card that could possibly help me out is, let's see. I'm trying to think what card could potentially help us out in this type of circumstance. I can't go for Signing Deal because all of the other UAs that I have more than 300 attack. I could normal summon out my Libero, which would then allow me to get another Playing Maker now that they've all been added in. Let's activate our Foolish Burial Goods. We're not going to chain it in. Instead, the card that we could either send, I think we're going to do Penalty Box, right? Let's see, you can banish the card from your graveyard, add one UA spell from my deck to my hand. I think I'm going to go for that because I want to get Power Jersey, just so that way I'm able to do a little bit more for this turn instead of not doing anything, I guess, at this point. We'll activate Penalty Box, which will then allow us to add Power Jersey to our hand. We're then going to go for Libero Spiker and then add our... we're going to add the guy that we are going to need to our hand, which is going to be Playing Manager again. So we're going to activate UA Stadium. We're not going to chain our Called by the Grave. Again, like I mentioned before, I think the card that we want to add is Playing Manager, and I think that we want to negate all of the cards that are on the field. So the next thing we're going to do, if we do have the chance to, is that we're going to potentially, or rather hopefully, special summon him, but it doesn't seem like we can. This is odd because it says if you normal summon or special summon, oh, I can't special summon him. So that's kind of the worst part here. So we're just gonna have to go in for this. We'll equip this to our card here. UA Power Jersey to our Libero Spiker. Libero Spiker, we could actually end our turn. And let's see. We probably could end our turn here and just hopefully hope that we could get something off. I'm not exactly sure what he has here. If I go in for an attack, when a monster is targeted for an attack, you can target a Metaphys monster that is banished from the graveyard. If you do special summon that monster during the standby phase. Okay, so what does this card do? If this card is special summon, you can banish all other face-up Metaphys if this card is banished. It doesn't seem like he has anything that could prevent me from killing one of his cards. I think that what we want to do, special summon that monster in attack position. He doesn't have any banished cards, so I'm going to go in for the battle phase. I'm going to attack... his Daedalus, or Daedalus. We're going to see what happens here. He takes the 400. Power Jersey is going to then activate, which is going to allow me to have a second attack. And I'm going to take out the Decoy Dragon. Decoy Dragon is then going to activate its monster effect, which is then going to banish it. which I probably should have chained off the card that I had, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. He's then going to chain all 3 of his Ametiphys, and then we're just going to have to see what that does in conjunction. That's going to switch our cards from attack to defense back to attack. So we're just going to basically end off our turn here, and we are holding on with a sliver of life points right now. So we do have Libero, and Libero is going to allow us to then return our playing manager back, which could allow us to then go in for other cards. Now if we do go for our defense spiker, that would probably be the best thing to do. Ace of Metaphys is going to activate, and that's not something that we really need to worry about. But I am going to just wait for Libero. I think I probably should do Libero Spiker's effect sooner rather than later. And let's activate it right now. We're not going to chain in our Call by the Grave. We're going to send Playing Manager back, and I think that we want to go for... There has to be a card that we could go for that could possibly or potentially help us out here. I can't go for anything else, but let's see. If this card is special summoned during your opponent's turn and Nova Summon, you can special summon you must have in your hand or graveyard, except Rival Rebounder. What's in my graveyard? I can only use Rival Rebounder. We might actually be able to do something with this. We're going to summon Rival Rebounder in defense. And I don't think I had anything in the graveyard, but let's see. UA Stadium is triggered. Yep, we're going to activate its effect. We'll activate Power Jersey, which will then activate its effect. And then we're going to trigger our Rebounder, which is going to then get another card from our graveyard. We're going to go for Libero Spiker, the one that's in our graveyard. We're going to special summon him in defense position as well. And then we're going to get our Power Jersey back, which is going to hopefully save us off for a turn. So we're going to have to just wait and see what we can do here. If I do summon out Libero, I will be able to get the other card that I do need. Ace of Metaphys is being activated, so he is going to, again, just send off all of the cards because it is not a hard once per turn. And that is the biggest thing that we need to make sure that we are recognizing here. The UAs are definitely holding out, but it's really going to come down to what we do with the rest of the turn that we have. So looking at what he has, thinking about the cards that we're going to have to play against it, I don't need any trap cards. So Royal Decree can come out, all the other cards can come out, and we're going to just switch them off for cards that either deal with back row destruction or cards that can potentially help us circumvent what he has and what he's going to be playing. I suggest that we put in Imperm and some of the other cards, so we're going to just bring this down. We are currently 0 to 1 or X1 as the Yu-Gi-Oh world or community says your wins or losses. We're going to save this. And then I believe we're going to go to our second round. So thinking about what he has, with the Metaphys, Moon Mirror Shield would be a great card to add in right now. And I think that that's something that we're going to do because we don't need to worry about Royal Decree. Instead, we're going to put in the Evenly Matched and take out the Royal Decrees. We're also going to potentially take out a Pot of Extravagance and or a Called by the Grave, because I'm not sure that we're going to need it. We're going to put in the Moon Mirror Shield as well. And then I don't think that we necessarily need to side in anything else. Because we are going to continue to run the Pot of Extravagance, I could take out 2 other cards and replace them with Imperm, but I think that we're going to be good for now. I didn't see a lot of continual summoning. Instead, it seemed like very basic original summoning, or rather standard summoning. So we're going to hope to see if we can go first this time and not get half of our deck banished. So Sirius Glass is going back on once we wait for Raging Raven to finish up with his siding as well, and then we're just going to have to see what we can do with our sort of our play style. So we're going to go first this time. We do have our Signing Deal, which is a great card to start off with, and we also have UA Stadium. Now, thinking about what he plays, right, we're going to have to try to see if we can get out our our Power Slugger or our pitcher and see what we can do to potentially win for the next one. So let's see. I have Extravagance. Since he doesn't have anything out right now, Extravagance could potentially start us off really good. So we're going to start off with Extravagance. Banish our 6 cards and potentially draw our next 2. Thankfully not getting Ash Blossomed. Let's see what we can do here. This is actually not that bad. I'm going to go for, I probably should go for Hyper Stadium, but I think we can do regular Stadium first and then get out the rest of the cards that we need. I think what I'm thinking of is that I want to have Libero Spiker on the field, and I want to have another UA in my hand. So I'm going to activate this card out. I think what we want to do is normal summon our midfielder and then get our Libero Spiker on the field as well. Alright, that's going to allow us to add 2 other cards to our hand. I can then switch out midfielder for Libero and then keep the other card in my hand, which is most likely going to be my Slugger, in there as well. But let's see what we're able to do here. I'll normal summon out midfielder, and then we'll activate UA Stadium, which is then going to add the card that I think we want to go for, which is going to be Perfect Ace. That's the card that we want. So we want to make sure that we're able to at least, hopefully, or potentially negate some of the cards that he is going to be able to use against us. The next thing I want to do is then activate Signing Deal, which is going to allow me to then get Libero Spiker out on the field. And this is going to be hopefully what we need for the rest of this type of duel. So Libero is going to then hopefully potentially allow me to get the rest of the cards that I need. Do I need to play this thing? You target when UA monster control, return that face up, especially some UA with a different name. Only use, nope, I don't need to use midfielder just yet. The next thing that I need to do is I can activate Foolish Burial Goods and then send the penalty box to the grave, which I'm going to do that. But we could also send Hyper Stadium, right? Let's just make sure that we are keeping in mind with that, right? If I send Hyper Stadium to the graveyard, right? Doesn't this have a graveyard effect? You can reveal one field spell. No, it doesn't. I don't think it does. Yeah, so it's either Metal Foes Fusion or the other card that we're going to need, which is going to be Penalty Box. We're going to send Penalty Box to the grave. We can then activate that and then get our UA Power Jersey. But I'm going to set my other Penalty Box here. I could view this. What card could I special summon? We could go for Redoer, I believe. Oh, no, we can't. It's not going to let us. Instead, let's see. Let's see. I think I'll activate this. I'll activate Penalty Box. I'm going to say no to that, and we can add in Hyper Stadium. When this card is activated, you can add one UA RFA to your deck to your hand. We might be able to pull something off here. All right, I'm slowly realizing the power that this deck has, and I think what we want to do is that we're going to say no. I'm going to add a card from my deck to my hand, which is going to be, ooh, let's see. Let's add in, I feel like we might want to go for a block backer just in case. And I think what we want to do is switch out block backer for our midfielder, right? I think we want to switch out block backer for midfielder. We'll put him in defense, and then we'll wait for Libero to then go for Perfect Ace, which we will then use to summon out the other card that we're going to need, which is going to be our Power Slugger, and we're going to use his effect to negate the effects of all the other monsters that are currently on the field. So this is kind of going to be most of our stuff. Dimensional Fissure is going to be fine with us because we don't have to worry about our cards hitting the graveyard just yet. Instead, we're going to, let's see, I'm going to say no. I don't think I have to worry about anything just yet. If he does play something, Gold Sark is going to activate. That's going to allow him to then send his Necroface to the graveyard. And that's going to be the start of the 5 cards that we do have that are going to be potentially removed. So we're going to have to wait and see what we can do here. Necroface is going to activate. It's asking me if I want to do my Libero thing. I'm not so keen on doing it just yet. He did remove nothing that we are going to necessarily have to be afraid of. He didn't thankfully remove another card, but we also need to make sure that we check our thing. We did lose a Libero Spiker. So if this card is normal summon, you can banish the top 3 cards in your deck. If you do this card against the range attack, when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon this card during the end phase. You can only use the effect of Ragnarok once per turn. Yes, we are going to now activate our Libero Spiker's effect, and then we're going to say no to that. We're going to, oh, Libero was negated. That is the unfortunate circumstance that we are in. we're going to have to really just try and see what we can do here. He ends his turn, and then we start off with our draw phase. So we are all set. That's all that we need. Daedalus is activated, so I don't necessarily care. I'm gonna be real, that's not gonna really affect me. I'll activate penalty box here, but again, like I said, that's not really gonna affect us in the long run. I think what we need to do now is just get rid of Ragnarok and then try to see if we can potentially go for some type of a game-winning win right here. So I can summon out Power Spiker and then normal summon out Libero Spiker there, or rather I can summon out Perfect Ace and then normal summon Libero Spiker there. Or I can normal summon this man out, return this, and then special summon something else out with Libero. But let's see. I'm gonna special summon my guy in attack position. Then we're gonna go for... I could use UA Signing Deal. But I think what I want to do is actually special summon out... I'm not sure. I think I might want to special summon out something else. We could normal summon. We never normal summoned here. I could normal summon out Midfielder. We could normal summon out Midfielder, then go for Libero Spiker. Alright, let's see. We can normal summon out Midfielder. I could special summon just these three, so that's not going to help me out. Actually, something we might be able to do something here. If this card is linked to that one warrior monster from your deck to your hand, but for the best of turn, no normal summon special summon with that monster's name, nor activate effects. You send any other core cards to your deck special summon. Okay, no, I don't. I can't use that. Can't use that just yet, but we can go for Libero, and I think we might want to do that instead. So let's do that really quickly. We'll send Power Ace back to the hand. We'll special summon out Libero in attack position. I can then go for a Signing Deal, which can potentially help us out here. Signing Deal is then going to activate. We are going to say no to that. I feel like I should summon out, let's see. This kind of special summon during opponent's turn. This special summon, you can only... No, I think we might want to go for Power Manager, but that's a lot of damage to take. We can go for Dunker. Yeah, we can go for Dunker. I think Dunker is probably going to be one of the better options for this turn. His effect is going to be negated, but that doesn't mean that we can't then go in for our attack. So we're going to enter our battle phase. We're going to attack with Dunker first. We could do Ragnar. Yeah. Let's do Midfielder. We'll send back Blockbacker to then summon Perfect Ace in defense position, just to make sure that we're able to get rid of that. If the start of the battles on monster, you can banish opponent monsters to the second phase. Yes, we are. We're actually going to banish it. I forgot that we actually could do that. So we're going to banish out his card. Then we're going to go in for our attack with 1800 and then with 1200. Thus doing at least 3,000 damage and setting us up with a potential way to win, I would say. With Dunker on the field and with Libero Spiker in the hand, we might actually be all set. We can then switch out Dunker for Blockbacker, and then we can use Libero Spiker's effect to go for our player manager. So we're going to have to wait and see what we can do there. Nephthys was activated. Once per turn, you can put into finish, you destroy one card to get the activation. If you do destroy it, we're going to say no to that. What I'm waiting for is either a Necroface to hit the field or a Gold Sark or something like a, I don't know, like a, I'm waiting for a Gren Maju or something, really. But we potentially have a way to circumvent and win, hopefully, this duel. He does get Ace of Metaphys, and that's going to be probably the card that we are going to target with our Perfect Ace. Which we'll then use to send Perfect Ace to the grave. I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to activate Perfect Ace's effect to then send the other Perfect Ace. Oh, but if we don't send it to the graveyard, right? I think you can discard one card, negate a card. I'm going to say no. That card should be destroyed. There we go. All right, so we're good. Whew. For a second, I was like, wait a sec, does it have to go to the grave? Necroface is then going to hit the field. We are going to then activate another card. We're going to say yes to that. We'll put Libero's effect into succession. We're going to say no to midfielder. We'll send blockbacker back to then summon out player manager. Player manager is going to hit the field, and then the rest of the cards that he's going to get are then going to return, but then player manager's effect is going to activate, allowing me to destroy his Necroface. And then we're going to say no to that. There we go. Necroface's card effect was activated. We're going to say no to that. That's going to hopefully then banish out the rest of the cards that we had. But thankfully, we did not banish another Necroface. So we are good. We're actually in the clear here. I have no idea how I'm winning at this point. I'm going to just be real with you guys. Like, I made this deck about a week ago. So we're going to really just try to see what we can do for the rest of this turn here. He does have Dimensional Fissure, but nothing else in his hand. So we're going to have to see if we can turn this over during our turn and see if we can take this. We have about 4,500 along with an additional 12 for a total of 5,700 points of damage that we can potentially do. It's going to have to come down to what he can possibly activate, but as you guys can tell, I think that we are going to take in the second game. Raging Raven is going to then give us the win, and that's going to lead us into our third duel. We are now going into the third round, and let's see what we can do here during this duel. So going back to what we figured out again, the imperms and the penalty boxes are, again, really good cards that we're going to need. We don't necessarily need to side in the Nibiru, nor do we have any targets that we can go for the rest of his Metaphys cards. Taking out the extra extravagance also helped us out as well, because we know that we're not necessarily going to need that card as well in the long run. So he's most likely going to try to go first. It's really just going to have to depend on what we tend to do for this type of summon. Again, please make sure that you guys do check out Raging Raven on YouTube, and make sure that you also check out Cypher Cards, who is the coordinator of this entire event, and all of the other YouTubers that he is having and showcasing on his channel as well. So we're currently going to start off first. We have Blockbacker, Midfielder, Extravagance, and Rebounder in our hand, as well as Foolish Burial Goods. He's going to then start off with his first turn, and we're going to just hope that he doesn't have a Lupine or Necroface in his hand. Goldsark's going to start off the turn. He's going to then send Necroface off, which is then going to banish off the rest of the cards that we are going to have. But what I'm realizing here is that I'm seeing a lot of an absence of Soul Absorption, so that's actually going to be really good for us again, because he's not going to be gaining, again, like 2,500, 5,000 life points that he could have. He starts up by activating Ace of Metaphys, and we're just going to try to see if we can see. I only saw one player manager as well as some spells and traps. Definitely saw a penalty box get banished, so that's going to be something that we're going to have to worry about, as well as 2 of the field spells that we are hopefully, unfortunately, not going to be able to use. So getting that other penalty box is going to be very important. We also could go for the UA Stadium, but I think based off of what we have, with the absence of Marcos Cosmos being on the field, Foolish Burial Goods might be a better card to use for something else. If we start off with Pot of Extravagance, we're going to have to not go for Metalfoes Fusion. He ends up going for the field spell, which is Metaphys Factor, and we're going to see what he's able to do after summoning Ragnarok on the field. When Ragnarok hits the field, he's banishing the top 3, and it's going to gain 300 for each Metaphys. He only had 1 Metaphys that was banished, and when this card inflicts damage, he's going to be able to special summon 1 level 5 or higher from his deck, but hopefully we're not going to have to run into that ourselves. Signing Deal is the card that we needed. Signing Deal is probably going to set us up with the most amount of success, with allowing us to then get the cards that we are going to potentially have to use. Decoy Dragon is something that we are going to have to watch out for, because this is going to allow him to then special summon another card from his deck. If we end up going for Player Manager, we can negate all of the monsters on the field, but he does have this back row card here, which I am fairly cautious of. So we're going to have to try to see what we can do around that and see what we can play on in regards to the cards that are played here. Ace of Metaphys we also might have to watch out for as well if he does end up banishing a card. He does end up using it on the opponent's turn, but thankfully I don't have any monsters on the field. This is all happening during the draw phase, so he is just cycling some of the cards back in, potentially looking for a card that he's going to possibly try to summon with the effect of Decoy Dragon. So I think that Decoy Dragon is the biggest thing that he's going for based off of the cards that he's sending. I believe that if we get rid of Decoy Dragon, or if we're able to negate its effect, then we actually might be set up for success in more ways than one. So let's go with Extravagance. We'll banish off the top 6. Again, I think my biggest target is this Decoy Dragon that we're going to have to see. Moon Mirror Shield is going to then help us out, and that is the last card that I needed to draw to make sure that this deck basically gets what it needs. So with Moon Mirror Shield, we'll be able to go into what we need. With Decoy, we're going to basically, we're kind of going to just bust his ass. We're going to destroy the card. Holy crap, that's kind of it. Like, that's all that we needed, really. Decoy Dragon is going to basically just be destroyed, and then we kind of just need to worry about the rest of the cards that we have there. If it is Marcos Cosmos, we're going to have to see what we can do off of it, but I think that we're going to start off this turn with our midfielder hitting the field, and then we're going to go for Playing Manager, which is going to hopefully negate the effect of all of the cards that he does have on the field, which will potentially stop his Metaphys from being banished. That surprisingly doesn't allow me, or rather we're waiting right now. We are going to then chain our Playing Manager, and we're going to special summon him in attack position. Playing Manager's going to hit the field. We're going to activate his trigger effect. We can destroy Decoy Dragon, and I think that that is the goal that we want to go for. I think we want to destroy it, but we might want to negate it instead. I'm not exactly sure what he might have. I think we definitely just want to make sure that we're prepared as best as possible. I believe that destroying this card would be the best use of our thing, and I'm going to go for it. We're going to destroy out the Decoy Dragon. Playing Manager is then going to activate our midfielder. During the place going to talk about you in Master Control. I'm not going to do that. We're going to then get rid of his card, and we can then go off for our signing deal, which is then going to allow me to get out my perfect ace monster that I definitely need to special summon. So the card that he had was that. He gets rid of our signing deal, which is actually going to save us some life points. We can then in turn go for Foolish Burial Goods. We're not going to chain off our card just yet. What we are going to send to the grave is our we could send, where is it? I need to see if my penalty box is in here, because if it isn't, then that was kind of a waste. Penalty box is there. We're going to send penalty box to the grave. We'll activate penalty box's effect, which will then allow us to then get a card back to our hand, which is going to be our, ooh, we could go for Power Jersey. Oh shoot, we could go for Power Jersey. We could go for Power Jersey, and then we could attack twice. I think that that might be the plan. We're going to go for Power Jersey. The next thing that we're going to try to do is see if we can possibly OTK this man. So I'm going to try to special summon. I can special summon this. We're going to special summon out our guy by then getting that on the field. Then I'm going to activate Power Jersey. I'm going to equip it to my Dunker. And then I'm going to also activate Moon Mirror Shield, and we're going to equip that to our Dunker as well. Next thing we need to do is, of course, go in for our battle phase, and that's going to be hopefully all she wrote. We're really going to have to try and see what we can do here. We're going to go in for the attack. Moon Mirror Shield is going to activate, making my card 1900. We're going to activate the effect of Power Jersey. If it inflicts any battle damage, that battle damage is going to then be doubled. And then we are going to then go in for 32, and then we're going to take the game, hopefully. Holy cow, we're going to take it with Power Slugger. The UAs have potentially won. Oh my gosh, the UAs are taking it. We are now going on to round 2 of the A to Z tournament with the UAs. Thank you, Raging Raven, for this duel. Oh my goodness, good game. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. We were able to take it. Oh, we were able to take it. The biggest thing that saved us from that duel was the Solemn Judgment. We are now going on to the second round, folks, of the A to Z tournament. I'm not sure who we're facing off next, but the UAs have actually won us this duel. I'm actually going to make this a statement to you guys. Power Jersey, yo, that was it. So Power Jersey basically got us the win. Moon Mirror Shield was just there to get the additional 100 attack, and then Power Jersey was able to take it for us, thus giving us that win in the duel. Again, I really want to give a big shout out and a great big shout out and thank you to Raging Raven for participating in the tournament. I will hopefully, if we unfortunately do lose, then we will have to see him in the losers bracket, but we are going to go to the next round. Please make sure that you guys check out Raging Raven's channel. Make sure that you also check out Cypher Card's channel as well, and make sure that you subscribe to the both of them while also subscribing here to see if we can take this UA deck all the way from the underdogs to the highest point that we need to in order to win this tournament. Thank you again, Cypher Cards. Thank you again, Raging Raven. I've been the artist with the fro. That, my friends, is the show. We're going on to round 2, and I will catch you all in the next one. Take care.